the young woman in Edina, who we only know as Jessie, who was beaten up at 50th and France at a Lunds Byerly's parking lot. What distinguishes her is her coming forward and insisting that people take a look at her mug now that it's been pretty battered. And that was powerful on her part. And then all of a sudden 300 people show up for this town hall meeting, and thus we discern an awakening of sorts that people realize, as Mayor London Breed of San Francisco has realized, progressive policies do not work.
Nope.
They simply do not work. That is not to say that we're not aware of similar efforts on the North Side. For example, we've had Don Samuels on as a guest. We've had the Reverend Tim Christopher on frequently as a guest. We're terribly aware of it for that guy who thinks we might have our heads in the sand.
Not to mention we live or we work in the middle of it.
Right. Here's the distinction I see. Why, if traction is achieved by the concern in Edina, particularly political traction, if you suddenly see a political awakening among the people who represent Edina, and I have no reason to believe their legislator and senator do not represent Edina, what that would tell me is the people representing black communities are failing the black communities. Who's the fraud that got
Lisa
beat?
Bender?
No, Jeremiah Ellison.
Yeah.
Philippe Cunningham. What in God's name? They had to be aware of the likes of Don Samuels and Lisa Clemens and other groups, Mad Dads. What did they ever do?
Nothing.
Ellison essentially has given Don a cookie and patted him on the head and said, "Don't worry about it. We're taking care of it."
And he hasn't taken care of it.
No, but he has summarily dismissed Don.
So the only difference between Edina and North Minneapolis, if in fact there is going to prove to be a difference, it's not because white people are going to be more taken care of. It would be because that perhaps they're going to be represented by people who are going to listen and take action. So I'm glad that who beat Philippe Cunningham? I've met her.
It was the gal.
I know.
Come on now. That gal. Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah.
Letitia? Is that her first
remember
name?
her name.
I'll look it up.
It take somebody 5 seconds to help me. Who beat Philippe Cunningham? I'm sorry to her that her name is escaping me.
Do you want to hear from Philippe really quick?
No, I don't.
You mentioned his name.
Never want to hear from him again.
Latricia Vita.
Thank you.
Latricia Vita. She will do something.
But again, you're going back to what Kenny just said. None of these politicians think that they owe it to, whether it's a resident, a business owner, that they deserve the time of day. We talked to one yesterday, and he said, the mayor never even returned my phone call in St. Paul.
Okay, am I interrupting?
No, go ahead. No.
I have a thought. If you're in Edina, Eden Prairie, outskirts, inner ring, outer ring, it is in your best interest, and crime is affecting you, and you're afraid for your life and your children and your friends. It is in your best interest to heal North Minneapolis first. Because this is where these bad guys are coming from. It's not enough to stop the crime in Edina. It's not enough to stop the crime in West Bloomington, in Shoreview. You have to go to where these kids are coming from and work on that neighborhood first.
Okay.
You've got a rusty spot on your hood of your car, and it's poking through. You don't work on the outskirts and leave the hole alone. You fix the whole thing. Let's fix the whole thing. Let's help the Reverend out. Let's help Don out. Let's get this handled. If you follow the crime reports, no matter how bad it is in Edina at 50th and France, it's way worse in North Minneapolis. The crime that the folks on the north side have to deal with 24 hours a day, including right this second, is outrageous.
Okay, and here's why that's, I think your take is excellent, but here's why that is a gargantuan task. And I don't disagree that it must be undertaken, but it's a gargantuan task for this reason. You've got to, everybody's got to be Laetitia Vita. You have to completely clean house.
Yeah.
You've got to get rid of the political mindset that crime is not crime, it's merely a result of behavioral need. You've got to get rid of this leftist ideology, which is destructive and turning America's cities into vast wastelands. That's a giant, giant task. I don't disagree with you on one sentence you said, but for the life of me, how are you going to? We just had an election and we didn't replace enough of the city council.
But we did see a bit of a change in that trend, and that's where I was going to go, because once Cunningham realized his defund the police movement was going to ultimately be his death sentence, he started walking that back big time. Remember the fake story of him saying, "I didn't know I was on a stage that said,"
Yeah, I know.
Oh, okay, but you know what I'm saying? I think a lot of these people that are either already in office or potentially going to run for office, I think they see that.
Edina, call Don Samuels, call the Reverend Timothy Christopher, call everybody, get them down to your country club, talk to them, ask them what they need. You're going to have to circumvent the city council. We have to fix this at the source.
We're being ruined by the left. We're being ruined
completely,
and our lives have been put in danger.
And I don't mean to single out all the crime is coming from the north side. It's coming from Cedar Riverside. It's coming from 15th and Cedar Avenue. You know, it's coming from all areas of Minneapolis.
Yep.
It's coming from an ideology born of the decline of ethical and moral integrity, which has been aided and abetted by leftist thinking. Don't get me wrong, the right has got a lot of screw-ups going for it too, but the right does not control any city in America that I'm aware of. 12 Democrat-run cities have established homicide records this year, including St. Paul. There's plenty of blame to go around on both sides of the aisle, but you got to take it piece by piece. And in Minneapolis and St. Paul, it's extreme leftism that is helping to bring these cities to ruin. And the task is overwhelming. It's overwhelming. Latricia Vetaw made a great inroad. We needed 4 or 5 more of her.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.